What up, guys? Welcome to Faded Town, the number one Pokemon podcast in the world. These are facts. Look them up in a book. Google that shit. Go to your local library. Do what you got to do. If it's your first time watching, I know it's been like 7 months. We're just coming back. This is Mondays. We do one-on-ones with people of the Pokemon community. That with our guest, obviously, we have CeeLo's Network with us, Luke Morsa. I really appreciate if you guys like and subscribe to this channel. It's been a minute, so I'm trying to pick it up. I'm going to be putting out podcasts every Monday and every Thursday. Mondays the one-on-ones. Thursdays are going to be with the boys. I don't even know. I'm just going to have random people. I'm sure Tate and Carter will be on it the most. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm just going to invite whoever wants to come on Thursdays. So don't get attached to anyone, I guess. All right. But for today, we got Luke again. We had him it's almost been exactly a year since Luke was on our podcast. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll link that one in the description. In the last one, we really just hit pretty much his life story on Pokemon. And he was up and coming YouTuber, and he took the leap and he dove into it, and now we're about a year later, and Corona hit. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how someone that really dedicated to a really niche community can survive this Corona times, and I mean, he's still putting out videos every week, multiple, and
yeah, daily
still.
Yeah,
I remember talking about it.
I think I've averaged one video a day for like, I don't know, 3+ months now. If I ever miss a day, I'll do 2 the next one, something like that.
That's freaking insane, because it's like there's 2 type of people in this world. There's people like me. When Corona hits, I go, all right, I'm done. I don't what am I going to talk about? No motivation. I didn't put out content for 7 months. And then there's people like you who went, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to put out a video every day. So it's pretty nuts.
I mean, I had my doubts when Corona hit, when we found out pandemic events canceling and everything. I had my doubts. I didn't know what I was going to do in the world of Pokemon for a minute or two.
Right? We were doing podcasts about freaking Animal Crossing. It's like, what do we even talk about? I was like, I mean, and you don't realize how much like Pokemon revolves around your life when you were, especially because at that point, that's mid-season. We're in the thick of it. We're literally going to a regional every other weekend, if not every weekend. And like, it's just new content over and over. It's like given, handed over to you. Here, this regional happened. This happened. Let's talk about it. And then it went to
like a regional happens, and you're like, here you get a few thousand free views because this regional happened. Like if you are like a competent person, people know you already online, and you cover regional events. Like, here's free content.
Yep.
No work. You just go, you pop up the Limitless page, and like, obviously the better of an analyst you are, the more people want to watch through the whole thing, which is where like people like myself and Tricky Jim and Pokestats and things like that come in. Like, I don't want to undersell it and say like any average Joe from the street can go on Limitless and say here's a tournament and get 3,000 views, but if you know what you're talking about and you've been in the game for a while, it's basically free content.
Yeah, it was.
And then that's all gone.
Yeah, like you didn't realize it either. Like, I think we all took that for granted. We all just looked at it. It was like, all right, well, this is what we're going to talk about because this is our lives, basically. And then that got shut off. And then it was like, well, at least for me, I was like, I can sit here and pretend. I can pretend that I am having fun playing Pokemon PTCGO, that I'm buying packs and I'm playing all these stupid games, and we can talk about how these online tournaments matter and all this stuff, or I can be real and go, I'm not touching any of this. And I don't like the online tournament, like PTCGO. I've always been an advocate of how shitty it is, and um, I've always hated it. I hate it to this day. Um, I always talk about how Azul and fucking Mahone, how they sit there for 8 hours on a stream. They should be paid like a lot more, because that shit is just fucking numbing.
Yeah,
People
the only
watching
time
it
I
is
ever
crazy.
stream, the only time I ever stream PTCGO, I'd say for more than 4 hours at a time, is if I'm in a tournament, because then it doesn't. I don't really notice that it's PTCGO because I'm actually competing against real people.
Right. I think I I like the tournament. I've been so cut off because like I went to a dark place. I went into like I don't. To be honest, for the last 7 months, I don't know what I fucking did. I don't know. I didn't fucking do anything. And then I come back and they're like, everyone's like, "There's a tournament every day," and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's pretty dope." Because
Yeah, the community really picked up.
yeah, because like when it first started, I threw off my own tournament, which I think that really killed me, because like I pretty much did that whole tournament by myself, and I tried to make videos for every day, and there was like 6 hours of games, and I'm editing it, and I'm like, what am I doing? And like I
Yeah.
don't know, it was just a lot of work for nothing, basically. And then I was like, what, like, this is it? This is what we're doing? We're going to do these little tournaments for the next, who knows how long this is going to take. And I just got over it and I left. And then, I don't know, I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, I don't know who this person is. I don't know what happened. I started talking to my Pokemon friends again, and they're like, dude, you just gotta get back on the horse. And I was like, all right. And then I looked around, and a lot has happened. There's a lot of, the community is dope as fuck. I can't believe that these tournaments have popped off, and like people like you have been there for, like, I know that sounds like crazy, like you're a support system, but like you've been there. People like to watch your content, and you're
like I'm a
you're there.
like people like me are like a constant, kind of what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
and I wasn't sure if that was going to happen, not only with myself but with everybody. Like, Mahone is like full-time Pokemon, like that's his career and life and living right now. And I was like worried for people like that, because I'm still, like, I'm 26, but like I'm still in grad school, and I still live at home with my mom and grandma. So like Pokemon is like an income, but I don't have to have a full-time income right now.
Right.
And honestly, Pokemon didn't even become an income until the pandemic, which is ironic.
That is crazy.
And when this all started, I was like, well, is my channel just like, because I had just started growing. Like, we, in a minute when I'm done with this, if you want, we could just like set the scene, like what happened when the pandemic hit.
Yeah,
kind of
I mean,
thing
you
for
could
me.
jump right into it. Just jump
But-
into that. That's dope.
On Mahone, what I was talking about, like people like him, I was like, damn, or is he gonna like have to go back to his old job?
Right.
Like, is Pokemon just gonna be dead until like the world goes back to normal? Like, are people even gonna watch his PTCGO deck profiles if there's no competitive scene?
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of thinking. But it's been nice that there are these constants in the community that people, no matter if it's pandemic or not pandemic, no matter what kind of world we're living in, people can go on YouTube and see, like, entertainment from their favorite creators most of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, the community's been really great, and people like Ethan, who started the Hexter tournaments, like, he's just a high school kid, and
Which is nuts.
I don't know if you watched my video where we kind of talked about how it started. I had him on the channel sometime in the summer. And basically he was running tournament. He was just started streaming Pokemon. Like, he was just some guy streaming PTCGO, right? And his friends were like, hey, why don't we just run a tournament like on Battlefy or something, or challenge? So like he was like, all right, let's throw a dozen of us in there. We'll all throw packs in, we'll play. And that's how the Hexter series started.
That's nuts.
And it was just a natural thing. Nobody involved ever wanted it to be like a community-wide thing. Nobody planned on this being like something people look forward to every week. Like I'm playing in it when we're done recording this podcast.
It's just nuts.
And like it was crazy that it started as like this 10. If they were lucky, they got 12 people to play in it.
Now it's like 400 or something crazy.
It's been between 100 and 250, I think.
Every week,
most.
though.
Yeah, twice a week.
Twice a week. That's insane.
In the summer, it was 3 times a week, and Ethan had to stop because of high school.
Yeah.
For the school year, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I think they were getting over 100 every night once Darkness Ablaze came out.
That's insane. It's so crazy.
Yeah, like that was like just a spark in the community. Between that and then everything, just literally everything Limitless does.
Yeah.
Just
they're literally like a godsend from this community. It's
play.limitlesstcg.com. Like that website is just like my dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can click on a tournament, and as round 1 starts, you can see what everybody's playing. They already have the meta shares broken down. They have win percentages updating by the round. Like it is nuts.
The whole, I don't know. They've always done insane stuff.
They've always done good stuff.
They've
Yeah,
always done stuff, and it's like we don't even deserve that shit. I always look at like when I got on that website, I'm like, all right, this is amazing, this is perfect, and then like every time there's something new that comes out, I'm like, how, like it just gets better. It just gets better.
Yeah. And my mom the other day, so she's like, she's been playing in these online tournaments a lot, and they've really kept her competitive drive going because she plays because she's a competitive person.
Okay.
And like if there was no competition going on, I'm not sure if she would be interested in Pokemon right now. And I'm very competitive too. I probably would have dipped out at some point over the pandemic if I didn't have a channel and like I wasn't part of the community and Pokestats and everything. But like she was like, why is this Limitless site free? Like,
yes. I look at that. That's like, what?
Why can't we just go on and use this? Because like she was using it for tournaments and not even looking at all the data. She needed a list for an expanded tournament or something. I'm like, literally go on there and you can see all like 150 people's lists from the last tournament.
Yep, and it's like
it's just wild. Like it's wild for even me to think about, but for someone who grew up without the technology, she's like, how is this a thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Like when the whole thing, the Limitless, when I click on a tournament or when a live event happens, it's like the day after, it's like, here's everyone's deck list and how it all went. And I'm like,
yeah,
it is insane that they did that. They just do that because they want to.
Yeah,
like,
and because of that, I was able to do my recent best decks in the format video. I was able to use actual data to show what the best decks are now. Like it's no longer opinion, which I think most of the content creators' opinions would have been fairly close to the actual statistics. But now for people, especially that are newer and don't know, can I trust Azul to know what the best decks are? Can I trust Luke to know what the best decks are? We're like, here's the best decks and here's the data that shows it. So like if you want to know what's doing good and not my opinion, here you go. And this is all possible because Limitless collects every bit of data from the people who play in their tournaments, and it's so sick.
I think it's like, I think your content's always been driven by data though. And
yeah, I really started with the data, but then I had to back off of it a little bit to grow a bit of a bigger base, because getting hit with like the statistical analysis and the data and stuff is hard right away for the casual base.
I agree.
So like I've kind of like been holding everybody's hand getting into
it. Hey, I'm gonna do a pack opening now. No.
Pack opening, but I stuffed like statistics note cards into the pack.
But did you know that this card actually sucks? I know this card is worth $5,000, but it's actually dog shit.
when I open packs, I have to like try to limit myself from talking about how good the card is or how bad the card is.
We were just talking. I had Josh on. We were talking about that because like
Josh Hatter, right?
Mm-hmm. And we just like, because like the collector scene has developed into like its own entity at this point, and it doesn't matter what scene you're from, you're breaking a box at this point. And like you watch that stuff and you're like, they're like get excited over all these cards, and like as a competitor, you're like that's a mega Pidgeot. Like,
Yeah.
what are we happy about?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was picking up Mega Pidgeots all pandemic. I got into investing in Pokemon cards.
Dude, I have no problem
March.
with that. I think investing is super smart. It's just like, as a competitive player and as someone that's been playing this game for 5 months, when I watch a person that knows nothing about the game get very excited for a Venusaur EX, I'm like, all right. I open a Venusaur EX and I leave that shit on the table. And I walk
You just put it back into the pack and toss it.
I'm like, it's like, but like, how stupid do we look at this point? Because like,
Yeah.
Venusaur EX is probably like $300 or some shit right now. And you're like,
I forget who it was. It might have been somebody from the. I think it was somebody from the Heat Factory podcast that said they did a flipper rip, or is it rip and flip?
Yes.
When they did a ripper flip with prize packs from a League Cup in 2016, and they ripped an Evolutions Hollow Charizard. And they're like, this was 4 years ago, and the card was $20, and now it's selling on eBay for $200.
which is insane. We did a flip and rip. I know we ripped some like really good card right in half. I remember doing that shit. The good old days when you just open packs for views. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I think almost it's smart. Like, do you ever think about that? Do you ever just go, let me sell out and just fucking open packs?
I mean, I've done 2 pack opening videos so far. I really enjoy watching pack opening people that also have a personality and talk about other things. So personally, I recently invested in like an actual DLSR camera so I can do things like that, like show off parts of my collection, open boxes. I was mentioning to you before we started that my power adapter actually burnt out and they're sold out everywhere. So I'm back to the Logitech webcam right now, but we're working on getting the DLSR back up and running. But yeah, I'd like to open packs, but I never want to make that my whole channel. Like,
Right.
at most, I'd probably open a box once a week or something.
I think it's smart. I think it's really smart. I think it's booming. The one thing I hate is like when you get this like, I'm gonna open 6,000 packs. You think I'm gonna get something good? It's like,
Yeah.
like let me get some real risk. Like, I'm going to
Opening
Walmart. I'm getting 1 pack. Let's
Yeah.
see, you know. And
Trainer
like,
Chip does that on TikTok.
dude, that's way
Crazy,
better
isn't
for
it?
me.
You know, I never thought in 2020 I'd be saying, yeah, Trainer Chip. You know, Chip Ritchie has a boom in TikTok right now.
That's so dope. I think TikTok is like super sick. I think
TikTok's cool. I started TikToking and my phone broke, but I just got a new one, so we're back in there.
Gotta get right back on. I think TikTok's where it's at. I think that's especially like I like that idea. I was talking to Raul about that. I was like, this whole like, let me open 16 boxes and guess what, dude? I got a shiny Charizard. No way, dude. You're telling me you opened 16 boxes, you got a shiny Charizard? No way. But like, how exciting would it be if like Trainer Chip gets 1 pack and gets the Charizard? Like,
Yeah,
I'm so
that's
much more hype for that. Like,
Yeah,
that's so
everything's
dope.
bigger. The risk, the reward.
Mhm. It's like, I know it's like only 1 pack. It's like you could get absolutely nothing and then your content's crap. But it's like, I'd rather, I don't know. I think it gets so saturated with like, I'm gonna open every pack in the universe and I'll get good content because I'm guaranteed to get something.
Yeah.
It'd be dope to see someone open 6,000 packs and get fucking nothing. I watched that video. I watched that one. I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me you didn't get the
risk, no
Charizard?
reward.
Wait a minute. I want to watch that.
That'd
one.
be good. The Vivid Voltage pull rates are actually pretty exciting to watch for, though, because like I think so. Danny O from Danny Phantom, the YouTube channel, by the
Killing
way.
it. Oh,
Killing it.
killing
He
it.
started out as he's the most modest guy. He gets in here after not using his YouTube channel for like a year and a half. He gets in here, he's like, hey guys, just want to talk about some Pokemon prices. You know, boom, 20,000 views.
It went like
Not
I had him on the
even
podcast.
trying.
I had him on the podcast right when DGG went down.
Okay.
And he goes, we're just talking about it. And after the podcast, I was like, all right, I know you got the inside fucking scoop, dude. Like, tell me what I should do to get into selling Pokemon and shit. And like, I just keep hitting him up. Boom, boom, boom. And like, he'd tell me shit. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then he made this YouTube channel. I'm like, it's so genius. Because how many people want to get into something like that? And it's like, especially in the booming community right now, like,
absolutely,
it does not matter. He could tell everyone every secret. There's not enough product for everyone. So it's just like...
No, yeah, even if he told everyone the secrets, they're not going to do it the right way.
Exactly. And
like,
it's just
but yeah, he's been killing it.
Mm-hmm. It's so smart. Like, he was in this whole avenue of being a coach and, like, team owner and this. But it's like, he finally tripled down on what he really knows. He fucking knows how to sell Pokemon cards and how to run a business. And it's like, I guess it just dawned on him. It's like, you know what? I'll just make this YouTube channel. And I think that's what everyone's doing. Everyone's trying to figure out exactly what they're good at. And like, once you find out what you're good at, if you just triple down on it, boom, you look like Danny Phantom. You got this fucking YouTube channel booming.
Yeah, but yeah, he does like mass box openings because he has a new store now.
Yeah. Coliseum.
And Pokemon Coliseum, and he did like basically a spreadsheet breakdown of pull rates.
Okay.
And I think it was like something like you get a Rainbow VMAX, I want to say in every 600 packs or something, and then he said he got, I think he opened like 1,200 packs and he got 1 or 2 Rainbow Pika VMAXs out of all that. And I feel like things have changed since the beginning of Rainbow cards. Like, I feel like one Pikachu VMAX is special because it's the Rainbow that everybody wants because it's Pikachu. But I feel like Rainbows were so much easier to get back in the beginning of the Rainbow era.
I agree.
And Full Arts as well, because I've cracked, I think 4 booster boxes now, Vivid Voltage, I want to say, and I've gotten one Rainbow, 1 Secret, not even a Full Art in every single box. Wow. But now they also have the Amazing Rares, which are really cool to watch for too, because like the Amazing Rares, I don't know, I could go on all day about Vivid Voltage because I think it's just, they killed it all around.
Really?
It's great for collectors because of Amazing Rares, and there's a Pikachu Full Art and a Pikachu Rainbow.
Okay.
It's great for pack opening content because even if it's a green code, you could still get an Amazing Rare.
Okay.
Because they're in the reverse slot. I think it's really good for card design because we finally have things that are VMAXs that are coming out that aren't as linear. So you have like Galarian Darmanitan messing with bench damage. You have Orbeetle VMAX with a unique ability we've never seen before. It's a Sand Slammer that works on your turn when you activate it. We have Colossal VMAX with really ranged attack costs. The first one that accelerates and does some damage. The second one that's 4 energy, but it kills everything. And then also card design like the Snorlax, it's a Tropical Beach in the active. And Dusknoir, that's Crystal Beach, but on Crystal Beach from back in the day that cancels all special energies. But it's on a Pokemon, the Shiftry, that makes all of your opponent's supporters hop. Like, the card design was also really, really good, and better than it has been for a few sets now, because I'm not going to spend the whole podcast complaining about tag teams, but the game has been downhill ever since Team Up. Like, the card designers are off something, I don't know.
Okay. I agree.
But, yeah, the card design, and then also playability-wise, you do have a fair amount of cards that are playable. You have Stone Energy, you have Orbeetle VMAX that can be splashed in decks, especially and expanded. It's good. Colossal VMAX, which is a new archetype. It's not like SS triple tier or whatever, but it is a new archetype that's in the meta. It's in the top 10 statistically working decks. We got Whimsicott, which is a new top 10 deck that's single prize based. Vivid Voltage hit the mark everywhere for me, in my opinion, other than card quality, because the centering has been garbage. I've seen I've seen it's even worse in Europe.
Yeah.
Like Europe, there's VMAXs that are like not even on the card. Like
Oh my
it's the
god.
color. But other than card quality, I think they hit collectible for going for master set. The cards look beautiful. You get like 9 to 11 hits per box, so you never feel like you had a bad box. The amazing rare, so green codes mean something. Card design, playability. I think it's an amazing set. So I'm a big fan.
That's crazy because I was just saying how shitty it was.
I know. No, you're not. You're not the only one. I think I'm the minority there because so many people have been like a lot of content creators have been saying it's not that great. But I don't know. Maybe I look at it from another light because I also think that it's such a great content creator set because there are so many cards that are niche and can win games but aren't good in the whole of the standard metagame, but they're good enough that you can do fun things with them.
That's
So
what.
I've also looked at it from that light.
Yeah, when you explain it the way you explain it, it's the best explanation I've gotten from anyone. Because I've had this conversation with a few people where I'm like, I felt like Pokemon's selling out where they're leaning towards collectors. I felt like we got like one card or two cards that were like playable out of the set. But when you put it the way you put it, I feel with that perspective, I feel like through like a rotation, these cards may be good.
100%. Jirachi Amazing Rare is going to be the new Jirachi staple when Team Up Jirachi is gone.
Yes,
Like
it's just a very bad state. I feel like the standard is in a very bad state right now, and that when we have, and I feel like I've said this since V cards have come out that they are nerfed cards with high HPs. They've taken a lot of abilities from like past formats, as in like Shaman's abilities, stuff like that, as an example, and just nerfed them to some degree, and then just stack 200 HP or 300 HP on something, and like it's so like it's gonna look bad because you throw these cards that are technically nerfed into a format where we had these fucking tag teams that were super busted, like behemoth monsters
crashing onto the battlefield.
And you're like, well, it's like for me as a player, I look at that, I'm like, why are you giving me this shit? Like this shit could never do anything versus this shit that we already have.
Like you can see, and I think this is like a prime example of because Japan has like a month to test sets, if they even get a month at creatures, because they do releases every 1.5 to 2 months, I think.
Yeah, something.
Like look at the VMAXs in Sword and Shield base. Snorlax VMAX, okay, great and expanded, but I don't think they create these cards with expanded in mind. So Snorlax, Morpeko, Stonejourner, and I'm missing one, Lapras. They did nothing in standard when they came out. They did zero. Absolute zero. Dude. Because guess what? It was still better to slap an ADP or a Pikarom or a Mewtwo on the board.
Yes.
And I've talked about this a lot because tag teams and VMAX is a common theme of like my design discussions, but it's obvious to me that they made these VMAXs to overpower tag teams, like you said, with their HP, but while not one-shotting each other.
Ever.
And it still couldn't. And then so they had to really raise the bar with something like Eternatus VMAX. And that still doesn't completely wipe out tag teams. No. Like the tag teams who ever shipped that idea, oh my god.
Like Pikarom will not die. That shit will not. It doesn't matter what you do to it. It's like, all right, we had all these good cards. We're gonna rotate all its support. That shit won like last week.
Pikarom has the most wins in Vivid Voltage format.
Will not.
It has. I've updated my data up until the 1st of December, and it had 9 wins up until that, and it's the 3rd most for placements overall. But it's the most for wins by over a double. And it's also you can say that for a lot of reasons. It's popular, but also good players are playing it. So you
Yeah.
could say, oh, the deck only wins because people like Mike Fouché plays it. Well, do you think Mike Fouché would play it if he thought it was a bad deck?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Like that's always been an argument that I just can never get behind. It's like, dude, that deck's only good because good players play it. I'm like, wait a minute. That makes. I'm not like I can't even have a conversation with you. Like good players. Okay, there's only a few good players that will play dumb shit, like Drew Bennett or Russell Lepar or people like that.
Grant Manley.
Yes, like they'll play dumb shit and make it look good. Like
Yeah, that's a different story.
That's a different
when
story.
When it's a deck that has like 8 spots in the top 32, it's consistently top 4ing or top 8ing events. You can't say it's only because good players are playing it.
Yeah.
No, there are good players playing it, and they're getting that far with it because they're good.
There's also bad players playing it, and they're not.
Yeah,
They're not
exactly.
doing well. All right.
Like that,
But they're
works
doing
for,
decent.
like let's say Grant Manley second place wall stall from 2017 Virginia Regionals, the Arachnid whatever.
Yes.
The one when James Arnold won the regionals. Like that's a perfect case
There
of
you go.
okay, that you couldn't have handed that deck to anybody in the building and they would
Exactly.
have won with it. But but you could say that for like ADPZ. You can hand ADPZ
Exactly.
to the whole building, and some people will succeed with it because it's a good deck.
Right.
It's not just because good players are playing it.
Or when everyone was playing, DGG was playing fucking Zora Control.
Yeah,
Well,
Zora
like-
Control you can't just hand that.
There's like that deck was only good in their hands. Like
yeah.
I remember going to League Cups after that, and it was just the freest League Cups ever because everyone's trying to play this, and I'm like, you guys have no clue what you're doing. You don't know anything. Like no clue. This is just free wins, and like there's definitely factors, but
Yeah,
you
but
can't
yeah,
sit there and
anyway.
see something so consistent and go, it's only good because they played it. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, but like anyway, back to the Pika Rom versus VMAXs. They created Colossal, bro. Colossal VMAX. That card could have just been printed that says "Kill Pika Rom,"
It doesn't matter.
and Pika. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I know. I look at Colossal and I'm like, that shit's garbage. But like,
It mattered for one tournament. The first tournament on the day of release on November 13th. That night, somebody held an online tournament with like 100+ players, and only 4 people played Pika Rom.
Right.
After that, Pika Rom's been back. Like they cooled off of it for one tournament in case everybody brought Colossal. Then Pika Rom's back
wow.
after that. Guess what? Pika Rom throws 2 Mewtwo into the deck, and it's a 50-50 versus Colossal.
yeah, it just does not. It's crazy because like you have Pikarom and you have ADP, and you're like, what? Like those cards are just so broken that the way Pokemon is going, which I think in the long run, this is good. It's good for the format. You're nerfing everything, and I don't know. I'm not a huge in like HP. I'm not happy about HPs. I don't think we need 400 HP.
Right.
But it is what it is. It sells like. When people see numbers that high,
We got to the point where you had to make it a certain HP so tag teams weren't just bopping every new card that came out.
That's true. But it's like, well, when's the power creep? And I think they finally started the down creep, where
Yeah.
you have these Pokemon with very high HP, which is like, okay, I will take the high HP over. Actually, I'm not. I can't even explain that. I'd rather have the more fun abilities and the more fast pace and less HP. But they went to the approach of, we're gonna give them high HP. We're gonna make this a 2-shotting game. We're gonna slow the game down. But we won't see that. We won't see that until we get rid of these broken cards, which we'll see. We'll see. It's just like, it's so hard to judge stuff when there's not live events. I think online events are cool and all, and I think a lot of people play, but the level of preparation and actually caring, I think, is a lot higher when you're competing for points and
there are a few. I'll say there's a few online events where I personally know how much preparation and metagaming and testing goes into it. So like the POG 2020.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you were back into following the game
I did
or
play.
if you were still on your break.
I played in the POG 2020.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So the POG 2020.
It's the only one I played.
That was like for weeks, for probably a month. I was preparing, I was coaching people for the POG 2020 format. I was writing articles for it, videos, streaming, everything. Making secret decks just like it was a real tournament again.
Yes.
And so for that, and you can see the preparation that went into that because of the deck that Sander Wojcik got second with.
Yeah.
Like, I think it had like 31 ofs or something in it.
Yeah,
like,
so it
that
sounds
wasn't
crazy.
a deck he threw together the night before and played, you know? Like, that was a deck that testing and thought went into.
Right.
So, like, for the POG 2020, there was a lot of thought. For the Limitless qualifiers, they were like 1,300 people.
Yeah.
And then the Limitless Invitational, which I got second in,
Yes.
and my deck also got first in because
Yes.
so much
That
thought
was
went
a
into
mirror.
that tournament for Tomb Count. And then the other ones, any of the ones with money basically involved.
Yeah.
So like, I think it was the GG Tour Chill Regional last weekend. There was like
Had,
almost 400 people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did really badly. My mom got top 32 though. So like people have been testing for those, more so than the ones that are just for packs and pride and having fun on a
Yeah.
weeknight. So there are different level of competitive and quality of online events, and like, okay, how many of the good players are rolling up to this, and how many of them tested for it?
Yes. I think
Like, it definitely varies.
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. That's like, but I can almost guarantee you when we go to a regional that shit has gone down or shit is about to go down in a hotel room. We're going to figure out almost what the best deck at that point in the meta is, and it's hard to say right now. But I think I could be completely wrong. You could have just people that are just super bored out of their minds, and what are they gonna do? I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna test this Orveedle deck until I get this shit right. And I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I think that, like, especially with cards like that, where there's so much potential when you look at a card and you like. There are cards I read and I'm like, that card is good. It's not good right now, but that card is good. Like,
yeah.
like in any other
for
world,
sure.
that card is busted. But like
Yeah.
right now, we live in Pikarom and ADP
We live
fucking
in tag team
universe.
world.
So that card is okay. Yeah.
There was a probably while we're recording this, it might still be going on, but the Sword and Shield On League that Pablo Mesa's running.
I've seen that.
So like 30% of the meta was Zacian V decks, and people are complaining about that.
Isn't there only like 4
there's-
sets?
There's 4 sets.
Yeah,
bro,
there's only
exactly.
4 sets. Like, what are your options here? You don't have many options.
There's 4 sets. Like, I don't care how many people are playing a Zacian deck. I care if the format's fun and if it's skill based. That's all that I care
Yes.
about. Like,
Yes,
it's like
I've
that's
had
like people
this-
complaining about Zorak back in the day.
Correct.
Like Zorak, okay, yeah, maybe like 50% of the tournament was Zorak decks, but so many of them played differently.
Yes, that like the
there was
shit you
Zora
could do
Guard,
with
Zora
yes.
Rock, Zora Pod, Zora
There's
Control,
so much
Zora
shit
Guard.
you could do. Like Zorak was like an engine with a great attack, and it was one of the most healthiest cards in the game, I believe, because it gave cards that didn't have a chance because it gave them a draw engine. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna throw Gardevoir in this bitch now because I can get my rare candies right now. Boom, boom, and like you just seen the potential of every card, especially when you look at a player like Tord who took that Zorak and was like, I'm gonna do everything with it until I figure out what is busted. And like,
or Stefan Ivanov with checkmate
yes,
Zorak.
exactly.
That's the perfect example. Like, I'm gonna do everything.
The checkmate. I originally the checkmate I was told was straight coming from Tord and fucking
The Limitless guys.
The Limitless guys. It was at NAIC the last NAIC. They were gonna pull it out, but they could not beat Zapdos. And so they pulled the checkmate out and put in muck. The card you needed for checkmate, they pulled them out and just put in the muck variant. And but fucking what's his name sent me the checkmate list, and then I started running that shit at cups. And like, unstoppable. I was like, that's the most fun I've ever had. You had to think harder than anyone's ever thought in the universe. And like, I would travel to like California, so you have a fucking Vegas kid coming over here trying to disrespect your fucking community and take your points away from you, and he's playing the most degenerate fucking deck in the universe, where like it's crazy because you played the fucking Mr. Mime, where you would take an extra prize with the Jirachi Prism Star, and it was like, boom. And like, it blew people's fucking minds. And like, once I seen that deck, I was like, I'm doing something wrong. Like, there's people that are thinking outside the box, and like, they're killing. But like, if you look at the format now, we have Cincino, I guess. I mean, there's potential, but the fucking attack is just too good. Like, Zori's attack, that card is just, I miss it. And a lot of people hated it, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, the Zora, so like right now the problem is our cards are very linear. And I'm going to talk about this more like in a future video, like actually dive into it. But like I had a patron ask something about this and I talked about it. So like if you look at Alolan Ninetales GX, right? So Alolan Ninetales GX has Ice Blade that can snipe 50 to something. It has Blizzard Edge that can bop something in the active for 160 and you have to discard 2. It has Ice Path, which fully heals it and puts all the damage counters on the opponent. 3 really different attacks.
Yes.
And then we have something like Eternatus VMAX today that has 1 attack. You either use it or you don't.
Yes.
That's the problem with the game today.
I agree a lot. It's fucking... It's nutty. And like... You don't have many options, and the HPs are so high, and the numbers don't add, like, I'm such an advocate of the numbers adding up that it bothers me that I do 290 for no fucking reason.
Yeah, right.
I hate like, that so much. I'm like, I could do 170. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like,
why am I doing 290
or 170?
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same next turn.
No, it doesn't matter. Like, why?
Yeah. The only reason we have to hit those numbers is because tag teams. Yeah. Tag teams weren't here. I mean, yeah. So like, tag teams kind of started this whole, like, we need to do something about this. Yes. And like, I don't know. Do you follow Magic the Gathering at all?
I'm not super into it.
Okay, so my favorite YouTuber is a Magic YouTuber. It's Alpha Investments. And he's mostly like a collecting and selling and buying and investing kind of guy, but he knows about the game. He talks about that too. And like the power creep in Magic, like people were discussing, like it got to a point where players aren't going to buy the next set if we don't make these cards better than the last one. But it's gotten so out of hand that these cards are doing such degenerate things that we have to ban them every set. And that's how it's gotten in Magic. Now, with Pokemon right now, I would argue you could make cards, an entire set of cards, that are not playable right now until rotation. And 90% of those sales are from collectors and buyers, investors, sellers. They'll still buy the cards if you put something shiny in the set.
I think you did that with Vivid Voltage.
They almost did.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
It's close. And that's, I like where it's going because of that. But like I'm saying, like entire blocks. So like I'm very scared what they're going to do after VMAX, because as we know, every like half block or like 2/3 the way through a block, they implement one like new half strategy or one new mechanic. Like they implemented tag teams for the last 4 sets. Yeah. I'm worried they're going to introduce some super gigantic 3 legend piece you have to put on the Yu-Gi-Oh thing, like five prize Pokemon.
I hope they don't. I hope they go down. I hope it's like...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, they could go down and just put a secret rare Charizard to bump their sales. And
I think they do that every set now.
Well, yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Shiny Charizard, put it in there. Put it in there.
Competitive players are like 10% or less of their sales.
Yeah.
Like competitive players are so little. Like it's buyers, investors, kids at the market, like it's whatever that are buying these cards. And especially right now, players are none of their sales right now.
Nope, they don't care.
So like they could completely nerf everything back down to like Sun and Moon base era and just wait for rotation. And as long as there's secret rares in the set, they would sell to the collectors and everybody.
Yeah.
You know? Like I think Pokemon as a franchise has that option because they don't need to put playable cards to sell right now because the people buying these things, the majority don't care if the card can be played or not.
Nope. Like you can look at Champion's Path. There's literally 2 cards in that thing that are worth anything, and it sells like hotcakes.
And I couldn't even tell you if there's any that are used in competitive play.
No, there isn't.
Altaria.
Oh yeah, yes.
It's a 50-cent card.
Yeah. I was like, I got a box and I like opened it. And I got like all these full arts. I didn't get the Charizards. I didn't get the shiny Charizard, and I'm like, all right, I probably made I got like 6 full arts or something. I probably made my fucking money. At least got my money back. These cards are worth $1.
Yeah,
I'm like, it goes from $1 to $4,000 on the chart.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I have my Champion's Path sealed for that reason.
Yeah,
It's such a volatile set.
Yeah.
But the Shiny Star V or whatever it's called, Shining Fates, that's a different story.
Oh, Shiny, yes.
That's like Champion's Path is a joke compared to that set.
Yes. The Shiny Star V is gonna be like, can you even get like? Are we gonna be able to get our fucking hands on it? Is the question.
I pre-ordered some, but that's if the store I pre-ordered from even gets their allocations.
It becomes like, how many people are gonna try to get this shit?
Yeah.
And what are we getting an elite trainer box? Like, what are we getting here?
Yeah, we're getting ETB and tins, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if they're all coming out.
I thought I just seen like a box for shiny Crobat. Crobat. Shiny.
Oh yeah,
Fates,
there's a Crobat box too. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that.
That's a thing too.
I'm like, I like it, but like, I don't know. It is gonna be content fucking heaven. You're gonna hate shiny Pokemon at this point. But like, in my personal opinion, if you can get your hand on one of each shiny, you should do it. And like, I think you wait. I think like right now, I personally picked up one of each shiny of what was it, Hidden Fates. Like the price on that, like for all the baby, like non-GXs,
everything in Shiny Bolt.
Yeah, everything in Shiny Bolt non-GXs. Like to get all of it was less than $200.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, it was less than $200 to get at least one of each non-GX.
And that Master Collection will probably like buy a house in 10 years.
Yes, that's what I was like. I was like, that's just an easy like. I can look at.
Worst case scenario, you need that $200 in a few years, so you just sell it for a couple $100 more than you bought it. Like that's the worst case scenario.
Like it's not going down. Like I show people, I'm like, there's a Triku star. It's literally just a shiny Triku. That shit is like $4,000. I'm like, do you see all these shiny little Pokemon? Just pick them up. They're fucking cheap right now. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Shiny under $5 is better than buying a stock. Just
just take it. Who knows? Put it in a binder and wait. One day you might just wake up and go, I can retire.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. That's how it is now. Yeah, but as far as playing goes, I really want to get back into tournaments, man.
Oh,
I want to be in a tournament.
I was talking to Raul when I had him on the podcast, and he was like describing the atmosphere, and like the way he described it, it gave me fucking chills, dude. And I'm like, we took that for granted so hard, and like being in an arena, and I think it's gonna be super toxic. When we do go back, the first time we go back, I think it will be super toxic. I think there'll be so much of like, how could you go back, you know? And like, even if like, there's just people like that. They're like, we're not ready to go back. I think that's going to be an issue. But if you can just look past that, I think it's going to be insane. I think, especially the way the Pokemon community is right now. It's
We're
gonna
gonna
be.
have people there that's not even there to play. If
I
they're
feel bad
allowed.
for
Like,
the
we're gonna
TO. Whoever the fucking TO is of that
we're
first
gonna have
event,
selectors.
it's going to be the biggest event in probably Pokemon history.
Yeah,
Like,
like we'll have a regional championships that's bigger than any Nats.
yes, I hope it's not somewhere trash. Like, it's in like Tuscan, Ohio, or some shit. I'm like,
Now,
give me like
But,
a city, baby. But I think it's gonna be. It should be fun, and I mean, cross my fingers. Rule thing is calling that we're going to Worlds next year. We're going. By May, we're going back to events.
yeah, I read a New York Times article like yesterday or 2 days ago, and they said that like the timeline due to vaccines is that large gatherings should be frequent and safe by May.
Yeah, that's what.
Um,
I hope.
Now, I hope that's true.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that means that I saw something like if you get the COVID vaccine, you'll have to like have a card like that certifies you
It's
took
gonna
it or
be such a
something.
weird place.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard something about that. And I also don't know what other countries are going to be doing.
Yeah.
So I know that's like the timeline people are saying for North America right now. But who knows if like we'll be able to travel to other continents
Yeah.
for something like Worlds. But I hope in 2021 I'm playing real cards again.
Dude.
Because like as far as like restrictions and the pandemic being safe, I have been in my house at my internship, and even my school is completely online right now
Yep.
because like I live with my grandma who's older and at risk, so I haven't done anything since the pandemic hit.
Yeah,
But
I've
that gives me a lot of
literally
time
nothing.
to be on my computers.
Right?
Thank God.
I fell into like I don't even remember what I've been doing. I literally haven't left the house. I'm like,
Yeah.
at one point, I was postmating every day. And I'm like, what am I doing? I looked at my bank statement. I'm like, there's all my money. It's going
Yeah.
to Postmates because I don't want to leave the house. And I'm like, dude, I finally snapped out of it. Got my shit together. I'm like a whole new person. I started this podcast again. Everything's great.
I'm glad you're back.
Yes, it's fucking. It's insane. Like a month ago, I sent a picture to Rule maybe a month ago, and I'm like, I don't know who this is. Like it was a picture of me, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but this needs to change. And like I talked to him, he's like, dude, you're fucked up. You got like you. He was real with me. He's like, I'm looking at this picture. Something's got to go. And like, and then I took a picture a month later. I'm like, these are two different people. We've fucking made it. Like, as like 1 month doesn't sound like a lot, but it's insane how much my life has changed in 1 month. And like,
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you.
yeah, I'm fucking ecstatic, to be honest.
As somebody in the mental health profession, like we're preparing, like myself, like my program, like we're preparing for decades to come. We're probably going to be counseling people on like PTSD of the pandemic.
Yes,
Because like it's going to be like similar to how people who weren't involved in 9/11 still had trauma from just the events surrounding it, like, or like the Great Depression. Like it's probably going to be something like one of those, like, because like whether you were cooped up or you had family members catch it or you're recovering from it or you had anxiety about catching it, it's something. It's
always
affecting everybody.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because like even like I'll go to the grocery store and it's like anxieties. It's crazy. You're like I haven't been around people in months, and then I'm in an area that has a large amount of people, and I'm like, it doesn't feel right. You don't feel right being there, and everything's like, and then like you hear because you're on fucking social media so much, you're like, I can't believe these people did, and then you're like get guilty. I'm like, dude, I shouldn't have went to the fucking store. I shouldn't have went to the store. Like as dumb as that sounds, like, like that shit goes through people's mind. It's like, man, these people these people are right. Like I shouldn't have left my house. Blah blah. But it's like, I know you gotta do what you gotta do at this point, and I stay in my own lane. I don't care what anyone else does. You do what you want.
Yeah, but hopefully we
we'll see.
get safe
That's what I'm
and the
saying.
world
I'm
back
like,
to-
we'll see what this whole Joe Biden thing happens. We're gonna get shut down or something, whatever. I'm just like, just give me a light. When people say May, I'm like at least give me some hope, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we've been in the dark for who knows, for 7-8 months now.
Exactly. Like, I mean, if we have to, you know, we've done this for basically the whole year. If we have to do it for another 6 months to get out, then let's do it.
Right.
Yeah, like
I need a light. I need a light.
like but yeah, I don't think I ever got back to touch on it when basically when the pandemic started. I went to Dallas Regional, so that was the last event I got to go to.
I was there.
And the only one after that was Collinsville. I didn't go to that one. But yeah, so Dallas happened. Day 2'd. My crew that, you know, we worked on decks together and everything. Hunter Butler was part of that. He won the whole thing.
Yep.
You know, feeling really hyped. Like, I'm working with a good group of people. I just hit 2K subs on YouTube, which I'm 10. I think I'm like 50 away from 5,000 right now. So big growth.
Big growth.
But yeah, just hit 2K subs on YouTube. I day 2'd. My crew's doing really well. I actually took off the year up until that point for local events. I was only going to regionals and stuff. So I was going to like go really hard Q4 for League Cups just to finish out my Worlds invite.
Yeah.
Get all of my League Cups at once kind of thing. And then in, I guess, end of February or early March was when COVID started getting bad, and we weren't sure if like places were going to lockdown. People weren't wearing masks yet. And I remember I was my grandma was getting surgery because we thought she was going to have to get her leg cut off, and luckily they found like a vein and they were able to like save her leg.
Good.
But I was in like the hospital waiting room when I saw that Toronto got canceled after people showed up to it.
Yeah, I remember that.
The government's on the TV saying like, you know, this is a pandemic, we're going to be taking precautions. The hospital's telling us we have to leave and they don't know if we can come back. So like it was scary, and like I was like thinking about Pokemon, like I felt like I was peaking, like I was growing, and I'm like, oh god, everything's ending. Like, what was this all for? Like, we're not going to have tournaments for who knows how long. Are we going to have Worlds? And I remember I tweeted something out like I'm concerned about basically the future of my content and everybody else's content, because like if we don't have tournaments, like who's going to care to watch? Like our channel's just going to die. Like I was talking about like Tricky Jim and Azul and people who make their living and they've made this their career. What are they going to do? So I was very, very like unhopeful, I guess, about this working out for the online Pokemon community, especially with how poor TPCI and PTCGO had been in the past. But yeah, it looks like it ended up turning out okay. I started what I would call full-time content creating sometime over the summer. So like in the summer I was streaming I think like 3 to 5 days a week, but video every single day on YouTube. And since school has come back, I had to stop streaming as frequently. But yeah, it's been like full-time content pretty much, in addition to school and work. And I'm lucky that Pokemon, the community, has really come together.
Right. I think
it was kind of surprising, and TPCI really put work into it this year.
I agree.
Now, I've said this in a lot of my own videos. I don't know what it is that stops them from fixing PTCGO. Like if it's a contract, or if it's Japan, or if it's like a higher up at TPCI. But other than PTCGO being a god-awful client, TPCI has really shown that they're trying for the community.
And they're listening, which is like...
Yeah.
I think in the past, I think I've quoted myself saying, like, they don't give a shit what we say, you know? And, finally, we see change based off, like, stuff that people are talking about, which is actually insane. Like when they changed the Player Cup 2 to the way they did it, I was like, that was a miracle. Like a miracle just happened.
It was, because I felt like it was, because it was exactly what I asked for in a video.
Yep. It was a miracle.
I was like, give us a set amount of entries and let us enter those many tournaments and see who comes out on top after that.
I was like, that was a miracle. And like, it's so it was dope. I think it was dope. And I like when the pandemic hit, I just like my shit was all bad because I just gave up 20K subscribers. I was on Sacker Scoop channel, which had 20K subs. I decided, hey, I want to build my own platform. I don't want to ride the coattails of Chum, which I could easily just stayed there and like, I mean, not to throw shade at someone like Andrew Mahone, who was gifted a channel with that many subscribers and turned it into his own, which in long run definitely probably a smarter option to do would have been to there. But I'm super ego driven and I hate to hear shit like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start my own channel. I'm gonna try to build it myself. And if I can't build it myself, then what was the point anyways? And we jump into it and it was going pretty well. I think we were getting pretty good viewership, and then the pandemic hit and I did that tournament, and like the viewership on the tournament wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. And then I'm talking about fucking Animal Crossing on my podcast, and I'm like, I have 100 subscribers. I'm like, what? Oh, fuck this. And then and I'm glad I'm back. I'm like, and I'm looking at things, and I know it's gonna take time. Like everything takes time. Just put out content consistently and see what happens. And like,
absolutely,
one of the dopest things that I've gotten was someone sent me their Spotify, you know, the update thing, and that my podcast was their number one podcast that they watched all year, and
nice.
They had like a streak of, in one day they watched 5 episodes. I'm like, when I've seen that, I'm like, dude, that's all that matters to me. Like, if one person sent me that, it's like, okay, I don't like, I could get 10 views for the rest of my fucking life, but if someone sent me that every year where they sat and like on their number one watch podcast, I'm like, dude, it's all worth it. Because like, especially dope. Like someone sat there and watched 5 episodes, that's 5 hours of listening to my dumb ass, and they did it. I'm like, that's insane. I like it. Like it changes the way you think. Like, and that's why like when I say like comments and like subscriptions and like reviews on like iTunes and stuff, like, dude, that shit means the world to content creators. Like, just your little words of like, hey, I liked your shit. It like that could be the reason they just continue doing this. Like like your little word of, hey, I think you're doing a good job, could change the course of a whole channel, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like back before I was a 1K subscriber, more YouTuber, like people didn't really know me that much up until like I don't even know when, but like. Now I think like Mr. Network has become like a name that people in the Pokemon community know, but it hasn't been like that for very long. And like 2 years ago, I was riding off the fumes of comments and like support from viewers and stuff, because I wasn't even making money yet.
No, like
just 2 years ago, and I was like, you know, like that really matters, and it really matters to all sizes of content creators. Like. Somebody like Andrew or Azul probably can't respond to every single comment they get, but like it matters to you no matter how many viewers or how many subs you get. Like the people that comment and let you know that like they appreciate the entertainment or the comments or the views, whatever it is that you're giving them, it really means a lot.
Yeah, I think that's like a really good way to end this podcast. I think people, you're listening to this and it's like your words matter, and like stay positive out there. Like the content that's being put out now, is being put out under a whole different atmosphere from the Pokemon community than it has ever been. And to see people thrive is like insane. To see someone like Azul, which I praise all the time, and Andrew Mahone, I praise all the time. And I remember having you on the podcast and saying, like, you're up and coming. Like, we got in the Pokestats group together, and like, and then I watched you do so well. Like, you got so much better at the game, playing the game. I was like, we're sitting in this Pokestats group with so many good players that are not known. It's like, eventually these names are going to be fucking known. And I think that if we didn't go into this whole lockdown, that, I mean, even then you're still killing it in these online tournaments. And I think there's a lot of people that no one knew about that are doing so much better in these online tournaments. And we'll see. That's a whole nother discussion we can go about like some other day.
If they succeed,
it's turnover rate,
IRL,
yeah. Which with that will be a fun discussion sometime. But I think when it comes to content creating, we're in a good spot. And
everybody's doing good work right now.
And I think the support
we're all pushing
from
each
everyone.
other.
Yes, I think that's one thing that I've learned a lot, because when I did have 20K subs and I had people DMing me all the time about blah 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 went on this podcast after yours, and I'm like, this isn't a competition, guys. Like, I think there's like I said, like the same thing where Danny's giving away all these secrets. It's not that we're thriving together. Like, I bring people on you on and stuff because I think you're very popular. I think the content you put out is great, and I like to give people a platform where you can sit down and listen to someone like you talk for an hour and talk about how content creation is going on in the Pokemon community, which is it's dope. I really appreciate all these people. I appreciate all the content. But I'm going to give you the floor if you have sponsors, because I know you got some sponsors. I know you got a few shout outs. You're Mr. almost 5K now. So let's hear it.
Yeah. So you can check me out, Celio's Network, on pretty much everything: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. I got that nasty underscore between Celio's and Network.
Yes. It's under your name right now. Yeah.
I upload daily on the YouTube, and I stream when I can, typically weekends when I'm playing in a tournament. Shout out to Zach for having me on this podcast, of course. I'm really happy you're back into it, brother.
Thank you.
Shout out PotownStore.com, who is my sponsor, and they have been lovely in taking care of me with when I need codes to compete in tournaments and things like that. And they've been supporting me since prior to the pandemic. It's been, I think it's exactly 1 year that I've been working with PotownStore.com, and I'm really happy to stick with them. So you can use my code Celio for 5% off over there if you're shopping for PTCGO codes. They have everything in stock pretty much all the time that you could ever need for PTCGO. And just I highly encourage you to just, like, when you're on the suggested videos or like looking through YouTube for Pokemon content, just look at some different content creators and check them out. Like, there's a lot of hidden gems that have really gotten more popular over the pandemic because they weren't necessarily the top competitive players. People like Little Dark Fury, who I think he's underrated, and he makes crazy rogue decks, and Aura Bomb. Some people that like aren't people that you see at every single regional and top 8, but they're really great content creators. So I highly suggest looking out there, because if you think you know every PokeTuber, you probably don't.
No, definitely not. It's crazy.
That's all for me.
Awesome, dude. I really appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
But for now, guys, dude, we're just gonna scoop it up.